Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are going to discuss literary elements. First of all, in literary elements we'll see the character. This is a person, animal or an object in fiction or drama. Characters are described based upon their personalities, actions, appearance and thoughts. There is a main character who is the most important character in a story and sets the plots in motion, and there are minor characters who are not as important to the plot as the main character. The character who blocks the protagonist or main character is called antagonist. Sometimes the antagonist is a villain who is a person, but an antagonist can also be a force opposing the main character. Character traits and described in the following terms. Characters that change are dynamic or round, while characters that do not change are referred to as static or flat. These are the types of characters. Characterization is the means by which writers reveal character. A quality that a character exhibits is called a character trait. This trait can be indicated by the character's statements, action or thoughts. Basically, characters are totally linked with their action. Which type of action they are performing, their association is being linked with that character. First of all, we'll see the example. For instance, an author may create a fictitious character by simply describing the character. Now, the character is being shaped by the author. It's up to author that how he shaped the character. Karen was small for her age and inclined to plumpness. Her blue eyes viewed the people and events around her with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. She was not a woman, but she was past being a child. For toys, she might still, on impulse, turn a somersault on the living rug. Another author may also reveal a character through his speech or action. Basically, students, now we are going to discuss the characters by authors. How, as I have discussed earlier, that it's up to author that how he shaped a character. But why can't I go? Karen wailed. Everyone else is going. You never let me go anywhere. You just don't want me to grow up and have fun. Karen wheeled around and stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her. Basically, these are the types of character as earlier we have discussed here, and now we are going to discuss here. These are the types of character explained by the author. An author may give the reactions and opinions of the other characters. I have known Karen for a long time, ever since first grade. We have been best friends since last year. I like her because, well, I guess it's because she is always so happy and sure of herself, and she's good at things like baseball and swimming and painting and stuff. Johnny paused, then added, everybody at school likes her. So, dear students, here I am telling you the types of a character shaped by author. Now you are seeing that examples are going to be changed with the passage of time. An author may show the character's inner thoughts and feelings. The sunlight trickled between the slates of the bamboo blinds. Karen stretched luxuriously, pleasantly aware of the tingling sensation in her muscles. She really ought to get up, she thought. Sally was coming over at 11. Maybe she should make some sandwiches so they could eat out in the backyard. Mrs. Henley was taking them to the beach in the afternoon. She should finish that letter to Piggy. Maybe she would tonight if she remembered and if she had time. Now these are the types of character, and basically it's up to a writer. He or she is telling about the situations of character, their feelings, thought, emotions. Now the second thing is plot. We have discussed earlier thing that the character. Now we are going to discuss the plot. Plot is the series of events that make up the story or drama or play. The parts of plots are exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. First of all, we'll see the exposition, the part of a work of fiction where readers learn about the characters and the conflicts they experience. It is sometimes referred to as the basic situation, provides needed background information. This is called exposition. Now we are going to discuss rising action. The suspense builds because complications arise that make the conflict more difficult for the main character to resolve. This is the thing. Basically, this is the you can say as I have discussed that more difficult for the main character to resolve. This is the initial thing. Climax. Climax or the turning point of the action. This is when the reader's interest reaches its highest point. This is called climax. Falling action. This is the part of the plot that occurs after the climax has been reached and the resolution of the conflict has occurred. After the after the climax has been reached and the resolution of the conflict has occurred. That is called falling action. Resolution. Solution to the conflict. This is often called loose ends or tied up end of the story. Basically, the conflict when are going to be resolved, that is called resolution. Now here is a plot diagram. First of all, we'll see the exposition as we have discussed. Number second is you can see in the diagram very clearly rising action, then climax, then falling action, and then resolution. This is the diagram which will help you. Now conflict. We'll discuss conflict. Conflict is a central problem around which a story revolves. Basically, this is the thing when you read a novel, when you read a story, when you read a drama. Basically, this is the thing which is going to be happen in the whole story. Conflict. The story begins from here. A central problem around which a story revolves. There are two types of conflict that can occur. Now the types of conflict are two: internal conflict and external conflict. First of all, internal conflict occurs within a person or a character. Basically, internal conflict, as it is mentioned with the you can say the statement or the as mentioned internal means within a person or a character. External conflict occurs between a person and another person, a machine, nature, or a society. Basically, it deals with another person or the outer thing, as it is very clear with the statement external conflict. Conflict is necessary to every story. In short stories, there is usually one major conflict. In longer stories, there could be several conflicts. Conflicts adds excitement and suspense to a story. The conflict usually becomes clear to the beginning of a story. As the plot unfolds, the reader starts to wonder what will happen next and how the characters will handle the situation. Many readers enjoy trying to predict the final outcomes. As we read the story, we see these things, 7 to 8 things. First of all, identify the main characters. Basically, this is the thing when you read a story. Dear student, if you highlight these points, you can go through very easily. First of all, you have to identify the main characters. Who are the main characters? This is up to you that how you have to deal with them. Number second, decide what conflict they face. Obviously, the story is going behind these things, you have to discuss or decide what conflict they face. Look for steps they take to settle that conflict. Obviously, when they face the conflict, they obviously will go how to settle the things. See if the steps cause other conflict. You have to discuss or see the other steps too, who are going to be the you can say the reason of conflict. Number 5, watch for clues and try to predict what the characters will do. Enjoy the build-up of suspense. Put yourself in the story. Basically, this is the main thing, or this is the important thing. As being a student of literature, you have to put yourself in the story. That how you have to deal with the story. Decide if you would have solved the conflict in the same way. You have to be very careful for these 7 to 8 points. Now we'll see the third thing is setting. The time and place in which a story takes place, details of a setting includes. Basically, this is the thing, the time and place. You have to discuss, you have to see that where the things are going to be happen. Time, historical period. The general period of the plot and the main location of the story. Obviously, this is the thing that how you have to deal with it. The general period of the plot and the main location of the story. You have to see that where the story is going to be happen, where the writer is going to adjust the things. Physical feature. What the now this is the type of obviously setting. Number 2 is physical feature. What the place, location of the setting looks like physically. You have to see that what the place, location of the setting looks like physically. Number 3 is geographic location. The actual location of the place where the story is going to be happen. Basically, these are 3 things which are very important for a reader to look out the things. First, time. Number 2, physical feature. Number 3, geographic location. Foreshadowing. This device uses clues that hint as to things that will happen later in the plot. Basically, when the things are going to be happen laterly, you have to see in this portion. This is the thing, point of view. The voice telling the story is the narrator. Point of view refers to the voice in which the story is told. It is the set of eyes the author uses to let the reader see the action unfold. The 3 points of view or voices follow. However, of the 3, first and third person are the most commonly used in the writing story. Basically, this is the thing we'll discuss. First of all, very important, first person. One can spot first person in point of view by the pronouns I, we, us used by the narrator. Basically, as it's the part of grammar, we all have been gone through with these things, that first person, second person, third person. With the use of first person, the narrator is an actual character in the story. His or her knowledge is therefore limited to that one person's perspective. Third person. When writing in third person, the narrator uses names of character and pronouns like he, him, she, her, they, and them. If the narrator relates thoughts of only one character in the story, it is third person limited, as in limited to the knowledge of the thought process for that one character. In third person point of view, the narrator knows and relates only action of all characters in the story, but of each character's thoughts as well. Thus, the term are all knowing. Second person. A narrator using second person is rather rare. The pronoun you is used in this type of writing. An example follows. You feel the salt air on your skin. You feel alone and isolated on the beach, yet you feel deep inside of yourself that you are not alone. Basically, in this portion, Point of view, as I have discussed, the 3 points of view are wise follow. However, of the three, first and third person are the most commonly used in, basically, dear students, first person and third person, basically these are going to be discussed commonly in stories or dramas, but second person is also important. Now we'll see theme. Theme is underlying focus of a story. Subjects or main idea of works can often be expressed in one word, love, but a theme is underlying. A theme is something the writer wants the reader to discover. Some universal literary themes are, these are the themes. Bold one are the themes. Heroes must undergo trials and endure losses before they can claim their rightful kingdom. Arrogance and pride can bring destruction. When the rule of law is broken, chaos and anarchy will result. Love will endure and triumph over evil. There may be more than one theme in a literary work. Obviously, theme is the basic point. When a writer write a story or a drama, he or she basically put the theme there. Without theme, the story is nothing. Mode happens when authors use descriptive word adjectives to create a certain feeling or mood in the reader of the story. Example of mode might be happy, sad, etc. Basically, these are the mode. Setting often helps create mood in the reader. Tone. Tone is the attitude that the author conveys about his or her subject through his or her choice of words. Example of tone follow: serious, light-hearted, bitter, angry, ironic. Irony. This is the difference of gap between what is said and what is actually mean in a text. The 3 forms of irony are. This is very important as being a student of literature. Dear students, you should focus on these things. Now, irony. This is I am repeating again, as a being student of language. This is very important term. Verbal irony. This is when a character or narrator says something but means exactly the opposite. An example might be, boy, she is pretty. She is really pretty, said about a muddy puppy with burrs in her fur. Situational irony. This is the difference between what appears to be and what actually is true. It is often demonstrated by an actual result being different than what is expected. For example, a story's main character could find the bad guy and bring him to justice, but walk out of the police station and be killed by a train. This irony is situational, as it is mentioned in the word. Dramatic irony. This occurs when the reader, observer, knows something that the character in a film or written text does not know. For instance, a woman might think that her husband has forgotten her birthday, but the reader audience knows that he has really bought her a diamond ring that is hidden in her desert at Dunnet. Prose. The ordinary form of spoken or written language is prose. It doesn't contain a metrical structure like poetry or verse. This is the different thing from poetry and verse. Symbol. This occurs when something specific is used to represent something abstract. Example, mourning wind representing loneliness. Symbol, as it is mentioned in the title, symbol. Obviously, symbolism. Imagery. A set of mental pictures or images. The use of vivid or figurative language to represent objects, actions, or ideas. This is very important theme. To make an imaginary word seem real, an author often makes a use of words and phrases that appeal to the senses. These words and phrases, called images, help a reader mentally experience what the characters in the literary selection are actually experiencing. A well-written description should arouse a particular response or emotion in the reader's imagination. Sensory imagery is developed using the five senses: sight, sounds, taste, touch, and smell. For example, the hot July sun beat relentlessly down, casting an orange glare over the farm buildings, the fields, the pond. Even the usually cool green willows bordering the pond hung wilted and dry. Our backs ached for relief. We quickly pulled off our sweaty clothes and plunged into the pond, but the tepid water only stifled us, and we soon climbed onto the brown, dusty bank. Our parched throats longed for something cool, a strawberry ice, a tall, frosted glass of lemonade. Now we have discussed the literary terms. Now we'll discuss figurative language terms. Basically, figurative language occurs when writers use language so that words do not mean exactly what they say. Now I am going to repeat again the statement. Figurative language occurs when writers use language so that words do not mean exactly what they say. The words have more meaning than what might be found in a dictionary if you looked up the word. There is an essay, easy way and a hard way to look at figurative language. First of all, easier way. Figurative language or speech contains images. The writer or speaker describes something through the use of unusual comparisons for effect, interest, and to make things clearer. The result of using this technique is the creation of interesting images. Harder. Figurative language is not intended to be interpreted in a literal sense. Appealing to the imagination, figurative language provides new ways of looking at the world. It always makes use of a comparison between different things. Figurative language compares two things that are different in enough ways so that their similarities, when pointed out, are interesting, unique, and or surprising. These are the two ways that how you can deal with the figurative language. First of all, we have discussed easier and then harder. Basically, this is the difference between, I'll repeat again, figurative language or speech contains images. The writer or speaker describes something through the use of unusual comparisons for effect, interest, and to make things clearer. The result of using this technique is the creation of interesting images. Basically, this is all about images, interest, effect, and comparison. But on the other hand, figurative language is not intended to be interpreted in a literal sense, appealing to the imagination. Figurative language provides new ways of looking at the world. It always makes use of a comparison between different things. Figurative language compares two things that are different enough ways so that their similarities, when pointed out, are interesting, unique, and surprising. Alliteration. Alliteration, this occurs when words are close together that begin with the same consonant sound. An example is slippery sullen shadows. This occurs when words are close together that begin with the same consonant sound. Okay, students, slippery sullen shadows. Basically, this example is dealing with consonant sounds. With the same, now look at here. This occurs when the words are close together that begin with the same consonant sounds. Onomatopoeia. This occurs when a word actually sounds like its meaning. It is very clear with the statement. This occurs when a word actually sounds like its meaning. Example: buzz, tick, splash, mew. The word is linking with the meaning. Simile. This is a comparison of two things using the words like or as. This is a comparison of two things. Now we are going to comparison of two things, going to compare two things using the word like or as. An example is Mrs. B's hurt is like a cold, black lump of coal when student talk while she is teaching. Now look at the example again, but you have to look at the definition that this is a comparison of two things using the words like or as. Like or as are the two things. We have to compare the things. An example is Mrs. B's hurt is like, now we have used like, a cold, black lump of coal when student talk while she is teaching. Basically this is we are going to compare the thing. Personification. The writer gives objects or natural forces human feelings and characteristics. For example, the stuffed bear smiled as the boy hugged him close. Personification. The writer gives objects or natural forces human feelings and character. Natural forces, human feelings and characteristics. For example, the stuffed bear smiled as the boy hugged him close. Hyperbole. This is an exaggeration. It puts a picture into the reader mind. This is an exaggeration. It puts a picture into the reader mind. This is a link between a reader and a book of a writer. Hyperbole is frequently used in humorous writing. It emphasizes some qualities of a person or things by exaggerating them, as in this selection. Idiom. Very important aspect. Idiom or dramatic expression refers to an expression in one language that cannot be matched or directly translated word for word in another language. For instance, the English expression "she has a bee in her bonnet," meaning she is obsessed, cannot be literally translated into another language word for word. It is a non-literal idiomatic expression. She is green with envy. Another example, a piece of cake is an expression that doesn't really have anything to do with eating, but rather refers to how easy some taste like might be. That's all, dear student. Inshallah, we'll see you soon.